monthly peak of 1,500 a year ago. Martin Reardon is here with us in studio, former FBI agent and senior vice president of the Sufan Group, a strategic security and intelligence consultancy. It strikes me, Martin, that this is why the might of several world powers hasn't been able to defeat us, because it is seriously cashed up and seriously well organised.
Well, it is organised, and they do have a lot of money. And albeit, yes, the U.S. airstrikes, the coalition airstrikes, have had a significant effect on both the bulk cash, the black market sale of oil, antiquities, and taxations. But keep in mind also, ISIS needs money only for as long as they govern territory and have to provide services to the people in that territory. That is shrinking due to the counteroffensives. So as they become less and less dependent on cash, or as they shrink their territory, their need for cash is less. They're still a threat. Keep in mind, we've been doing considerably more military action against al-Qaeda for the last 15 years, and they now are bigger than they were in 2001, and they have an active presence in more countries than they did in 2001, and they don't have the money.
Go back a second for me. You're saying that the less territory they have, the less need they have for the money.
Absolutely.
Isn't it more a case of they can't pull in as much money because they haven't got the territory? They lose an oil field, they lose... Yeah.
It is, and much of that is the tax base. They don't have the people
exactly.
that control the tax. But so the money, the point is, the money is not important for ISIS once they lose this territory. But the ideology that they have, and that's not going anywhere. The ideology is still there. There are still dedicated fighters. And when they're ideologically driven, they don't need the money. They're not depending on the pay. They're there for the ideology and what they want.
The fact, though, that the military is saying they're signing up, what is it, only 200 new fighters a month it is. I'm just checking my numbers here, down from 1,500 a year ago. That's significant.
That is, and that's much to the counteroffensive and the airstrikes has a lot to do with that. But ISIS can be diminished considerably more and still pose that threat as a terrorist organization. Right now, the emphasis is in the fight is ISIS as an insurgency, as a hybrid military organization. If they can lose that, they'll go underground just like they did, their predecessors did, Al-Qaeda in Iraq. They'll go underground when they're militarily defeated. But they're still a potent terrorist threat in the region and outside the region.
It is an interesting insight, though, isn't it? Because I think people, hearing those numbers that I was rattling off earlier, might be thinking taxes, and paying its fine. It is a sophisticated organisation. It's a fascinating insight, I think.
It is.
Yeah. Where do you think they can get more money from if they needed to? I know that's an odd way to ask that, but if they're losing oil revenues, if they're losing territory, if they want to stay funded and stay...
They're losing that option because without a banking system, it's hard to have money go in. There are still donors, but the amount of money from foreign donors is very, very minimal compared to the money that they were generating through black market sales, through taxation and whatnot. But also, when they get to a point where they're not a force in the thousands, but perhaps an active force in the hundreds or a few thousand, they don't need the money. ISIS in Libya does not have the money, but they're a very potent force there.
Still a very big force, isn't it? Martin Reardon, really interesting talking to you about this. Thank you for your time today.